Welcome back to Slide 2. So time for the next step in Batley's plan.
Alright, boys, we're ready for the next phase. My plan to get at the Clockwerk wings requires the use of an electric winch above the ballroom. To get control over the device, I'll need to hack the computers in Rajad's boardroom.
Because he has one.
We'll need an extra strong saw blade to cut the wings off the statue.
Yeah.
To make a saw blade that durable, I'll need Sly to steal the gems off the headdresses on Rajad's prize elephants.
This is where the plan gets a bit weird.
Again, like I said, all that's missing is a pile of bird seed to match the Wile E. Coyote levels we
Here's the thing, the suspension of disbelief for this plan is probably the highest in the entire game because Bentley is basically banking on the fact that everyone will be so distracted by the ball that Murray will be able to, use the crane to lower himself onto the wing with nobody seeing him and managing to use a saw blade to cut them away from the place without anyone hearing that.
Run away, Mousies.
I'd argue it gets a bit crazier with the fourth game.
I guess. I still believe this, of the entire franchise, this is the plan that is the most ludicrous in that regard. Because the others, even when you put them in the context of the franchise universe, can make sense. You just need to stretch a bit the special disbelief. This one is the one that definitely stretches it the most for me.
I think I get what you mean. Whereas you could argue that other plans do get wackier, this one is the one that hinges the most on, well, no other way of putting it, luck.
For example, for the same identical plan, let me put this: constructing a buzzsaw using rubies, that's like as to steal in this particular mission. But I can accept that. It's probably consistent in the franchise's universe's rules, and it might be the material that we need to saw away something resistant, like the Clockwerk's wing, which we said is a particularly resistant material. That I can accept. Again, it's the fact that it hinges on the fact that no one will notice that.
Yeah. I mean, I think I get what you mean. Like, ironically, it's not so much the wackier stuff that makes it so silly. It's actually more of a basic thing with how lucky they have to get for this plan to work. Whereas other ones, despite being wacky, are actually very elaborate, but, airtight in a sense.
Oh yeah, using a buzzsaw to saw away the wings is tight.
Well, it makes things super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Pretty well,
really?
Yeah. That's pretty much can be a tagline for a lot of the plans of this franchise. So why not? Basically,
super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Sometimes yes, but the gist of it is that to get on top of each elephant and whack it enough times to get the rubies from it.
Again, I just love to imagine the sentient elephants using this elephant to ride properly. Like,
again, Joe, you're not supposed to think about that.
That's not what.
Just don't think about it.
That's not what Robot Chicken told me.
Well, Robot Chicken is a lie.
Well, no shit.
Actually, if anything, Dwibs, Robot Chicken is the detective that asks the questions that a lot of us fought as kids.
There you go.
That's the thing, Joe. You were kids, but
the major challenge from this is to manage to, arrive at the top of the elephant without alerting too many guards or dealing with them if necessary. Interesting, the first of the rubies, the elephant will start actually trying to use his trunk to actually, try to fight back, but it's just a matter of calculate the timing and then jump. There you go, like this.
Okay, settle down.
4 out of 6, and then there we go, he pushes you and you have to go back. Thankfully, if I'm my expert power of editing, I will just, there we go, skip this down to the basics. Also, yeah, some of these guards have lasers That's not the kind of attack I was expecting from a goat, but sure, why not? There it is. Again, types of missions like these actually also help you familiarize with the overworld, which honestly, again, it's pretty interesting as a shift from what Sucker Punch did compared to the first game, where instead, each level felt more like their own, while this one feels much more organic and like we literally are in the same locations. I mean, don't get me wrong, the first game's format is pretty much still valid when you really get down to it. But this one is also a viable, alternative, and the one they decide to stick with the most, which is fine by me. There we go. Got him. And of course, the guards don't notice the fact that the rubies are missing. Why not?
That's it. With these jewels, I can make an ultra-hard radial saw for the heist.
Oh my.
Groovy.
Oh, he did say ultra hard, and that does sound groovy.
Alright, next up, if I recall correctly, we need to infiltrate the computer. Hack the computer, like Bentley said.
Find the computer room.
No. Alright, first up is... There you go, to reach it.
Rotund features prevent him from fitting through the drain pipe, so we'll need you to unlock the vault room from the inside. I've heard from a reliable source that the guards keep the vault combination written beneath one of their break tables.
So, get down each of them and take a look.
Each till I find it.
That's the idea.
There we go. Although, as you can imagine, it's not as easy this time, for example. Obviously, we're not going to hide it on the first one. Would have been really too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Maybe they would do that because maybe their logic could be they'll think we'll put it there because they'll think it's so stupid that we put it there that they won't bother to look there.
Considering most of the guards are rhinoceros, I find it more impractical how we managed to do it.
They lifted the table up.
Fair enough. Let me check instead the thing that I forgot to mention in the previous part. Rajan is voiced by David Scully, the same voice actor for Dimitri.
Fantastic. Now, type the code.
He's mostly famous also for voicing the character of Sergeant Johnson in the Halo games. Apparently he's not voicing anything anymore since 2013. What a shame. Apparently this guy worked on a lot of... I forgot the names. Those old point-and-click games for kids, like with Freddy Fish. Specifically, voice people like in Spy Fox and Pyjama Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Although apparently Pedro, he was in Police Quest 2. Weird.
I wonder.
Very interesting.
This vault empty. The code should be 857.
Yeah, there you go. Inputting the numbers in this game is a bit weird. You actually have to move the analog stick in the correct position and you have to hold it there. So it's not as immediate as you can imagine. Honestly, I like the handle system of the first game a bit better, where you just rotate it. And the fourth game instead is going to employ a lot of 6-axis, so look forward to that.
Oh boy, everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Then again, first party, I get the idea that Sony wanted to use it to showcase on a technical level how the features worked. Alright, so next up, instead, sadly we don't really get, if I recall correctly, a hacking minigame right now, but instead we'll have to pull an escort mission. Both Murray and Sly will have to defend Bentley hacking. It's not really as tedious as most escort mission in games.
So what are me and Sly here for?
The second I enter their servers, they'll be on to us. You guys need to work together to keep the thugs off my back.
You and me, pal, side by side.
Oh yeah.
The Murray knows no fear.
Also, Bentley would be helpful if you actually hacked with 2 hands. You don't really need to hold your crossbow. Oh well. Yeah, but for a change, you control Murray in this section. Again, this game also introduces a bit of mix-up. You will start a mission with someone and then control someone else, you know, in another section of it, you know, providing a bit of an extra challenge if you're not prepared for it, which is something I really like. And the third game, both the third and the fourth game will also keep this tradition, you know, in surprising manner. Now, with Murray, one move that you have from the beginning and that you can exploit the shit out of is the Fire Fist. Essentially, you gain a one-hit kill against any kind of book. So basically, and since it doesn't consume much of your stamina meter, you can abuse a lot of that to there you go, for more problematic enemies. And considering how enemies drop health and stamina pickups very fast, you can easily abuse this system, which demonstrates the fact that Murray was programmed to be much more helpful in combat. There we go.
Almost got it.
Fight.
Hack faster. Again, it would be helpful if you use both hands. Also, for some reason, some guards in this particular section also carry torches. I don't understand why.
It's so they can see you better.
No, we're gonna use because, you know, this is India, we're using the stereotype of, you know, the flame eater type of, trick.
And yet they don't, you know, actually do it.
No, they do it, don't worry.
Oh,
It's just that, you know...
I never saw them do it. Then again,
I'm good enough to prevent... No, someone did it very good, like now, for example.
Oh, there you go.
But most of the time I'm good at preventing it. Again, the best defense is to strike the enemy first, so...
Pretty much. Whenever I got to these sections, I just whacked them out before they got a chance to do it.
One particular strategy you can also use potentially is the belly flop, considering it does it has huge range. It doesn't kill the enemies in one hit, but you know, it stuns them enough. And considering you're helped by Sly in this section, it helps.
Ever find it weird how they don't just give you the option to switch between Murray and Sly during this section?
It could have, they could have done it, but I'm fine either way, honestly. I get the idea that maybe back in the PS2 days they weren't, fit for this kind of thing. If I recall correctly, there is at least one section in Thieves in Time where you have a brawl where you switch between the characters, but in a scripted way, in a sense that No, actually, I think it's his Life 3. Where for a section you control Murray, for a section Bentley, for a section Slide, it's a continuous fight that happens. Anyway, job well done.
Thank goodness that door locked itself.
Next up is to destroy more of the security forces, but will inevitably catch up with our heroes once the ice is full. So destroy them beforehand is, the better things to do.
We're going to need free reign of the sky during the heist. Well, be careful.
And this introduces a new gameplay mechanic, if I recall correctly, an RC chopper. Yes, there you go. Yes, now you need to bomb the shit out of the security jeeps.
Wow, this is very sneaky.
So it's so basically it's very similar to a certain mission in Grand Theft Auto Vice City. It's very similar as well, actually.
Well, I don't know which game came out first. Maybe one took inspiration from the
Vice
other.
City came out in 2003, if I remember correct. Let me double check.
It was around the same time, if I recall.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, around the same time.
Well, I can chuck it up too much. Also, it's okay, Waves. The bombs are just these weird green pellets, so we can keep the 3+ rating. But yeah, this is not a complete cakewalk, because sometimes they will launch missiles at you. But the clever trick is that the chopper does not have countermeasures, so what you need to do is to circle around on your own, and the missile will just react bizarrely. There we go, and explode on its own. This mission is fairly easy, honestly. But later section with the RC chopper will actually be much more, difficult. So this is more than a glorified tutorial for this. Again, it also introduces a neat gameplay variety. The first game also had that, but as you can recall, it wasn't really that great. But starting with this one, they actually perfected it and made it basically a collection of different gameplay styles. Again, like it's Action 52. Alright, Operation... Operation Hippo Drop. There you go.
Here's the plan. I'll start things off by demolishing the palace's main bridge. That should cut off reinforcements from the guest house and hopefully distract the ballroom guards standing watch over the Clockwerk wings. Sly will then take Carmelita.
Yes, it's time for another dance minigame.
And while the crowd is transfixed by their tango, Murray will lower into the ballroom on the electronic witch. What's down?
And again, no one will notice anything.
I guarantee you, that dance is gonna blow their flippin' minds to kingdom come.
I hope it blows their ears as well.
Past the drawbridge, we're home free.
I mean, if they started making out, that would definitely have their full attention.
Okay, Bentley. Murray and I are moving into position. You still think you can demolish something that large?
It doesn't take an engineer to figure out how to blow up a bridge. I'll start by placing
yeah, let's go with that.
That was a line.
Bentley has some interesting shades of personality, let's just say, and this is just the start.
Yes.
All crashing down.
Just watch your head when that thing gets unstable. We need that brain of yours in one piece.
Yeah, Bentley, it would sure be a shame if something bad were to happen to you.
To be fair, as you know, as specified the brain Trova.
Also,
All right.
not you, just your brain.
Yes, so we'll just put it in a jar like Mr. X.
Exactly.
So first thing first, blow the lower support. However, pay attention to the rocks that are falling because it will take damage. It's fairly easy. Ow.
Down here. That's it for the lower section. Now for the base support beams.
This one is a bit trickier because the paths are much narrowed, so there we go. And you have to destroy on both sides to make it more effective on some of them. There we go, like this. Also, how many debris does this bridge have that are constantly collapsing? At this rate, it might as well be destroyed on its own.
One more clean and this bridge is going down.
There we go.
Okay, Sly, the bridge is down. I'll warm up the van and get ready with the RC chopper. Good luck.
Alright, next up,
The bridge is
the
destroyed.
dance scene, of
Call
course.
the manpower you need and look into it.
Murray, you in position?
Check.
It looks like Bentley's little distraction did the trick. Initiate phase 2. I'll take care of Carmelita and the crowd. You handle the heavy lifting.
Alright, this dance better be worth it.
Miss Fox, I believe you owe me a dance.
About time. I thought you had left.
Oh my.
Just waiting for the perfect moment.
Alright, round 2 of the tango, and this is actually a bit more tricky than the first round with Neela.
Okay.
Basically, it's the same as before, Dweebs. They first show, it's very basic. They show you the gestures, then you have to repeat with a question mark without being so bad you need to guess the correct.
So, what happens if you fail? Then Carmelita arrests you for bad
Your dance
dancing.
really sucks, and they notice Ben. Sorry, they notice Murray.
I love how this. I love how the Sly icon is jumping around like in a karaoke video.
Yeah, that's the thought process behind it.
You look familiar to me. Are you in law enforcement?
I often deal with police while on the job.
Hey.
Oh, you mean like helping them?
Sure,
Yeah,
he's clearly
something like that.
he's an attorney. It's clearly Phoenix Wright persona.
Clearly.
So I take it.
That's a blatant lie, Joe. We all know that Phoenix Wright persona is the protagonist of Aviary Attorney.
Aviary Attorney. I love how that game is shameless with how it definitely is.
Oh, no, pretty much. It doesn't even try to hide it. But, you know, honestly, as a format, it hasn't been copied that much, so fine by me.
Yeah.
I wonder when we're gonna get the Dr. Lautrec of Ace Attorney at some point.
You mean like
we already have plenty of knockoffs of Ace Attorney, Dwibs. A lot of obscure DS games did that. There was even obscure shovelware DS games that ripped off Professor Layton. There's plenty. Remember, Dwibs, DS. It wasn't just the Wii that was getting shovelware. The DS also got a lot of shovelware.
I've heard of this shovelware mobile game called Regeria Hope, which is so obviously being
Never heard of it. I will have to look into it.
Same.
Some of them are so shameless, like they're not even trying to hide it.
The Regeria Hope literally has the same poses as well.
That's the interesting thing. Oh, hold on.
That's not answering the question.
I don't understand.
The wings. What happened to the
Well,
Clockwerk
shit.
wings?
What? How? Who could have? What?
What
Wow,
a gentleman.
he really couldn't resist teasing her like that.
Sly Cooper!
Yay. So basically, now instead, you will need to use the RC chopper to defend Mary. Basically, bomb the shit out of the guards, but pay attention because friendly fire is turned on, so don't hit Mary.
Hey, look at that! It's a throwback to that mini game from
With
the
the turret,
first game.
yeah. Honestly, at the very least, it's providing a bit more difficulty because if it was like that, you could basically just carpet bomb the nearby on Murray, and it would be fine.
This one provides a bit more challenge with the controls of the RC.
There's also a bit of, again, the hitting detection of where you're supposed to hit the bomb is a bit tricky because the chopper is constantly moving. It's not really a thing that you can, hold it in place entirely. But so basically, finding a correct way to hit the place where you want to hit is a bit of an imprecise science for this.
But that's the thing, though. Like I was saying, the interesting thing is that Dr. Lautrec marketed itself as just because if you go look at the and I'm sure Taylor can agree because he also has the game. If you look at the back of the box in Dr. Lautrec Dwibs, it just talks about the puzzles. It's clearly trying to talk about market itself to the latent audience. But of course, as we know, the game actually has a lot more than just puzzles to it. So I have to wonder why they just don't even market the rest of the game.
Your adventure begins now. More than 250 puzzles, basically more than 20 hours a game, and engaging 3D game.
Yeah, so we're not. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Time for the episode's conclusion.
Sure.
Clockwerk wings. Carmelita put her cover and started.
Of course, everyone's under fucking arrest.
With his reputation in shambles,
but Raja managed to escape, and it's unfortunately we have to tackle him again in the next episode. So we're not actually out of India just yet.
Yep, after all, we
but the team can take a break for a bit. Yes, Murray got into Bollywood.
Guys got to unwind, but he was still out there.
Why not?
And somehow, I knew things were about to get tough.
Ooh, sinister.
Well, we didn't have a boss fight yet, so of course things are about to get tough.
Yeah, that's also, again, another thing. The game paces well without having you to expect a boss fight completely at the end. And the third game will also keep this tradition, and also the fourth game, technically, by not being as immediate with the formula, having the boss fight automatically at the end of an episode. So that's cool. Anyway... See you for the third episode, where we're still stuck in India chasing after Rajan. See ya.
See ya.
See ya.